An auction of special breed cattle took place at President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm in Phala Phala yesterday. It's despite the farm being at the center of a criminal complaint by former spy boss Arthur Fraser, who claims robbers made off with $4 million in cash allegedly hidden in furniture. He further alleges that the president violated forex regulations and tried to conceal the crime, while the president has said that money was stolen and that the money which was stolen were proceeds from the sale of cattle. We're joined now by the University of Stellenbosch public governance analyst, Professor Zwelinzima Ndevu. Professor Ndevu, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Look, you know, yesterday's auction, of course, drew lots of eyes in terms of people really trying to understand what takes place at these auctions. Why do you think there's still so much interest in this matter?
Good evening, Katie, and good evening to your listeners. I think what draws a lot of interest into this matter is the fact that we have a robbery, unresolved robbery, or a robbery that there is no clarity on what really happened and why, if a robbery occurred, it was never reported. So we have heard that it was proceeding of an auction similar to this one. So people wanted to see as to, on a normal auction of that nature, how much money is really made so that they can compare with what was stolen in the farm, and also as to whether indeed people would bid with foreign currency, as we're told that the money that was stolen was foreign currency. So those are the things that attracted so much attention. Under normal circumstances, had this alleged robbery not been reported or head off, this auction would have gone probably unnoticed.
Of course, it really is about the public wanting to make sure that the president's story, or at least his version of events, checks out. And this is in a midst of, a climate where he's been very elusive about things like how much money was stolen.
Yes, I think that's what is really unfortunate about this incident, is that the president continues to say that he has not done anything illegal or anything wrong, but he does not come out with details as to what really happened, how the money got there in terms of detail. We're not getting that. And we are made to actually guess and speculate on what might have that money being proceeds of. And as a result of that, that's why there's so much interest, because people want to see if there is indeed a correlation with an auction of that nature, of these rare breeds, and the amount of money that was stolen in the farm. And the fact that the mystery is the fact that it was never reported formally to the South African police services, even for record purposes. That never happened. And that's the mystery.
The big issue here is that there remains a very serious case for the president to answer to. Accountability is really, really important, and transparency from the president. Do you think that his position and his approach to this matter is likely to change with growing public pressure?
I think, unfortunately, he has to come out at some stage publicly and refute some of the allegations that are now making rounds, as this might be a proceed of other activities other than what he has alleged to have happened there. And the continuous lack of clarity and confusion would lead to more people doubting the president's version. And that would lead to a greater public distrust, which the president doesn't want to see. So I do think that sooner or later, the president will have to come out, address this issue. Normally, when you think that there might be a case that you need to answer, you would then reserve your right to keep quiet or withhold certain information. But in this case, we know that the president clearly says, as far as he's concerned, there was nothing illegal that has happened here. So the question is, why does he then not come out clearly explaining why this activity was not reported to the police, and why there is still no clarity as to exactly what has happened, at least from his part.
Just this past week, we had the likes of the UDM and ATM go before Parliament and ask them to look at different aspects of this case and hold the president accountable. Both their requests were turned down by the Speaker. What are the other mechanisms that are available in as far as holding the president accountable? And that's really beyond just the criminal investigation that is underway.
I think the parliamentary process was one of the processes that would quickly allow President to come and answer questions to Parliament. We know that that request was rejected on a technicality, that no substantive motion was submitted by both parties or substantive motivation for their motion was submitted. But I think also a president is a leader of society and is a leader of the country and is a leader of the biggest political party in the country. He has that duty to actually come out without all these pressures that are mounting, to actually come out and try and take the nation to his confidence around what really happened. And this would really diffuse some of these speculations that are flying around that we currently see. And it might also pose aspersion to the law itself as to whether does the law apply equally to everyone or not. And I think that the president has a responsibility, at least a moral responsibility, to deal with this issue.
Speaking about the morality of the matter, it is also going to come down to his organization, the ANC, and the extent to which then he has, a moral standing in as far as speaking or taking a step against corruption and, leading the charge in as far as the fight against corruption is concerned.
That is correct, but we would understand that the ANC's position has always been that the president is a victim of a robbery. He's a victim of a crime that has happened in this farm. But I think what is a challenge and what they are not addressing, if he's indeed a victim of a crime that happened in his farm, why that he has not reported as the law requires, or any law-abiding citizen in the country is required to report to the police. So that would be something, a hurdle that the ANC would have to get over. And I think that's where President Ramaphosa would have to answer, either to any structures of the ANC itself and the top 6 leadership, and put them into confidence as to what really happened. And you are correct, this would also affect some of the programs that he is spearheading to deal with clean governance, issues of dealing with corruption, and so forth and so forth. So the sooner we move from this particular scandal and allegation, the better for the president.
All right, let's leave it there for tonight. University of Stellenbosch Public Governance Analyst, Professor Zwelinzima Ndevu.